the very first episode of the Senior Home Companions podcast. Today we have special guest Anna Luna, our new concierge nursing service. So Anna, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and share your journey in nursing and what led you to partner with Senior Home Companions?
Absolutely. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on behalf of LunaCare Co, which is the nursing concierge services that Senior Home Companions and I are partnering with together. So I got into nursing through trial and error. Essentially, I was in college for a little bit too long before it really dawned on me while I was working in a home health agency that I loved taking care of people and I loved being there for them and giving them the autonomy that they deserve and a quality of life that they're proud of. That led me to nursing. I went to Indiana University for my degree. In the meantime, I was also in the military, so I was balancing both, being in the Army National Guard for 8 years and going to nursing school. That ultimately led to me developing a love for science and the medicine and understanding the brain. That coincided with my ER experience during nursing school, and my first job was in the emergency room here in Indianapolis at Community North. So that was such an awesome experience. I was there during COVID, during the whole thing, and that was when I really found my love for the elderly community and their families and dementia as a result as well. I just had a big soft heart, and that's really what got me into doing my own services. I was there able to help with some family friends of mine, and one of my family friends' husband, he has dementia, and he was one of my very first clients. He and I would go out in the community and go to the park, go to the library, go out to eat. I would take him to the barber. We would just do stuff in the community to get him more involved. And the family really appreciated my presence simply because I knew how to communicate well with him. I knew any medical emergency that could happen, I would be able to take care of because of my ER experience. And due to us being out in the community, it ultimately led to meeting more people and building up my client base. And everything's just been word of mouth, and it's been really great to develop that. So word of mouth is how Senior Home Companions found me. I was taking one of my clients to his barber. It's a Thursday ritual. Every Thursday we go to his barber to get a razor shave, and right after we go to Cold Stone or Handles and get ice cream. The only thing he remembers is we get ice cream every time, and he asks for it every time. So it's been a fun ritual, and that was how I met somebody that worked at Senior Home Companions, and we started talking, and they were like, we really like the service that you provide and want to offer that to our people as well. And here I am.
What an awesome background story. So crazy that you went from the military, being in school, to the ER, to now working as a concierge nurse in home care. And we're so glad that our staff member did find you, because we're super excited to offer this extra layer of support to our clients. I want to lead into our next question with what kind of unique skills and experiences do you bring to the home care setting? I know you have such an amazing background, so what does that look like in home care?
I think that one of the biggest things that stands out for me giving care to individuals is my ER background. The ability to know when it's an emergency, and the ability to know what questions to ask to get answers that maybe family members don't know how to ask. So a lot of what I do and what I am going to do for Senior Home Companions as well is taking clients to doctor's appointments or phone calling in, being a presence there and with the client and asking the questions, knowing that client's background, asking the questions that families don't know how to ask or they haven't even thought of, concerns when it comes to medication crossing over and causing issues or side effects, asking for certain blood work. It feels like a different communication style with the doctor and with the providers that our clients have when I talk to them. Like, it just seems to flow better, maybe because of my medicine background, or maybe because I know what they're anticipating and the issues that they're trying to solve versus the issues that I know my client already has. Because, you know, doctors see so many people all the time, and it's hard for them to keep your loved one straight. And so I'm there to keep them straight and to aid and be a patient advocate. So I think being in the ER, knowing the disease process, knowing the steps that doctors will take really aids me in being able to communicate the medical side of a loved one's history and keeping them safe on that side. So that's the biggest thing that I think the ER helps me with. But then, as well as the military, really taught me a lot about communication and making sure somebody stays autonomous. So another skill that I feel like I bring to my clients, whether they have dementia or whether they just need a little extra support in their life, is giving them their autonomy back and speaking to them with the utmost respect that they deserve, and not treating them like a child, but treating them like an individual and an independent adult like they are. And I think that goes a long way to building trust and building honesty. And I know family really appreciates it, because family intercommunication is sometimes difficult as well. So being that third party to either explain things in a medical way or explain things in a way that your loved one can understand, I really feel confident in helping people make the correct medical decision or home life decision as well. Just giving them a big picture of what their doctors might be thinking or what risk factors they might be facing with whatever their complications could be.
No, your background definitely speaks truth to all of the things you just said, and communication in healthcare is so important. So we appreciate you taking the time to explain all of that. So coming from the ER and nursing in general, I know the environments probably differ quite a bit coming from the emergency room to a home. Can you tell us what the difference is, like working in those settings?
Yes. In the ER, people come to you when they're in distress, and when you go to people in their home, they're a lot more at ease. So totally different environment, totally different stress levels. Meeting somebody at their home when they're the most comfortable is when you really get to understand who that person is and what they like to do and what potentially even could trigger them. So I really appreciate meeting somebody in their home, because it's such a more interpersonal communication and relationship in general. You don't get that in the ER. You don't get to build relationships in the ER with your patients, and they really can suffer in a way if you don't have somebody there to communicate effectively for them, or if they don't know the big picture. So knowing them at home allows me to bring the big picture with them if they were to have an emergency. So that it's a big difference.
And I feel like when you walk into someone's home versus the ER, being able to layer in that extra personalized care, because you know this individual, you know their family, you know their backstory, their medical condition, everything you could possibly know, versus the ER. You're meeting this person for the first time. You don't know their background, you don't know their family, and it's probably just a very stressful environment. So
yes.
I can tell, home care is just so different. So I want to lead into our next question. Can you walk us through a typical day in your life as an independent nurse in the home care setting? So what does your morning look like to the time that you end work for the day?
My day currently can be very different. I go to a lot of doctor's appointments, so I will generalize this because every day is a little bit different. One morning I might have a client, like on a Monday, I have a client that I go for a couple hours to just help him get up and get ready for the day. So I'll wake him up, help him with his morning hygiene routine, make him breakfast, give him his meds, and take care of home chores, much like our caregivers currently do. And that will transition into I'll leave after that and go pick up somebody or go to somebody else's place, get them ready for the day, and we go to a doctor's appointment. And before that doctor's appointment, I've already talked to family members 1, 2, and 3 about the doctor's appointment, that we're going to the doctor's appointment, the questions I have to ask for whatever specialty it is, and I ask them if they have any questions that they want me to follow up on. Before the doctor's appointment, I also go through the med list to make sure it's updated, and then off we go. So I have all the questions, and all of the medication list is in order, and their history is in the front of my mind because I have a system and I keep it all in one space. And then after the doctor's appointment, depending on the results or whatever is going on, I give a report back to the families and tell them the plan of action, the next date that's been scheduled, and then we either go home and update that client's calendar, or we go and do something that client wants to do. Sometimes it's lunch, sometimes it's to go visit another client in a memory care or something like that. Sometimes we go to the library, different things like that. After that, it's the same thing. Like I'll go and visit another client somewhere else. And I do have a handful of clients in memory care that just like to see me. So I'll go and visit with them for an hour, and then I'll take my leave and go and visit another one for an hour. And this whole time, family is usually aware of my schedule, my intentions, and they know I will tell them about anything concerning that I've noticed that day if I've met with their person. Or I'll let them know that they are missing tissue papers in their room, or they need more water or something like that. And then in memory care's case, I usually talk to the staff and ask them if they've noticed any differences, ask them how things are going, just keeping an eye generally out for any medical indiscrepancies or behavioral differences that have changed, or just mood changes in general. So a lot of what I do is recon, kind of, is going in, getting a general assessment, seeing how they're doing, meeting with them, and hopefully making their day. Hopefully they enjoy and remember me being there with them. And then I go home and do it all over again the next day. Sometimes I have 5 appointments in a week, and sometimes I only have 1. So that really gives us the flexibility to do more or be there more for them.
It sounds like each day varies day to day, so it's always exciting that you have a new day.
It keeps me on my toes, definitely. I mean, the ER is always something different too, but let me tell you, home care is something different too.
It is, for sure, yeah. Home care, something happens every day, so you always have to be on your toes. So you provide all of these amazing services to clients who've already signed up under LunaCare, and now that you're coming alongside Senior Home Companions, what services are you offering to our clients?
So LunaCare is ran purely by nurses. I don't have LPNs. I haven't expanded to include other levels of care like CNA. So we're just RNs, and for that reason, I've partnered with Senior Home Companions to create a level of care that is RN based. Now, your doctor's office may send a wound care nurse to you to be checking up on wounds and whatnot, but my services would be to help you get to the doctor's appointment, or for family members to know that somebody is going in place of them and can ask all the right questions for their loved one, or even on the phone call with them while they're there with their patient. Other services that I am providing with Senior Home Companions would be medication management, setting up medications on a bi-monthly schedule or a monthly schedule. Everybody kind of does things a little bit differently, but every time I set up somebody's medications, I take their vitals, I talk to them, I talk to the staff, and I ask about the changes and everything, and I generalize all of that into a report for the families And if family members have any further questions, then I follow up on those concerns as well. I make appointments for the doctor's offices, and when I make appointments, I make sure that I personally can be there or will be available for them. And then I have other tiers that allow for a little bit more in-depth of care, being like medical record keeping all in one place, or education for families and staff for different scenarios or different disease processes. So it's the next level of care that includes medication management, because currently senior home companions can't do the medication setup. And I know a lot of families are really busy and just need to be a daughter. They just need to be a son or a grandchild, and they need somebody to step up and be their person's caregiver. So that's what I want to do for these families, is to give their family job back to them and let me be the caregiver and watch over their person, knowing that they have a nurse liaison in their pocket that they can consult with.
And I know that service is going to be so needed with our non-medical home care clients, and that's just such a great layer to add to our services. So we're so excited that we get to offer those now.
Yay, me too.
And then can you share a memorable story or experience from your time working in home care, just to give some of our listeners a glance into your life and just maybe some of the fun scenarios that you've been in and maybe some of the more life-saving scenarios that you've been in?
Oh, I have so many stories, so many funny inside jokes too. One story that really stands out for me is I was with one of my clients fairly regularly. I saw him a few times a week, and one day I just noticed he looked a little extra pale and he was just breathing a little bit more than normal during our daily walks. And I went back through his medical records that I had, and I noticed he hadn't had any blood work done in at least 10 months or so. So I called his physician, asked for a generalized blood panel, and communicated with him the signs that I had been seeing. And so he ordered the blood panel, we got it back, or we went and got it, and then that morning, the next morning, the results populated. I noticed he was severely anemic, like dangerously anemic. Due to my ER background, I knew the protocols of the ER, and they would be giving blood if we had gone to the ER. So we did. I instructed the family to meet me in the ER. By the time we met in the ER, we had gotten a phone call from the physician saying, you need to go to the ER. But luckily we were already there. He got, I think, 2 to 3 units of blood. He had an internal bleed due to his blood thinners. And nobody was even planning on doing any blood work anytime soon because there was no reason to. So I feel really lucky that my intuition noticed the changes that he was going through, because he couldn't tell me that he was feeling any different. But that was a really close call that I'm really grateful to have been there. And then for some fun ones, I always, whenever we're out in public, I try to drink a lot of water, so I go to the restroom regularly, just like everybody else. And I told one of my clients, Mr. Client, I have to run to the restroom, I'll be right back. And I say this so often, you'd think I'd learn. He goes, well, you don't have to run, you can walk. And he just hits me with it every single time. And I just crack up. Aside from that and all of the fun events that we go to, I really like going to the Geist Waterfront Park, where all the kids have their jungle gyms, and the beach as well. My clients really enjoy that place, as well as the Fisher's Library. The library is very friendly for anybody going, and those are fun places that we go a lot.
Yeah. Wow, that's such a inspiring story and a testament to your services, because if you weren't there, I can't imagine what would have happened to that client. So that's just amazing that you were there. And Anna, you have to tell us, I know this little guy is a big part of your life, about your golden retriever and how he interacts with your clients, because I think this is so fun.
Oh yes. So I have a golden retriever. His name's Peanut Butter. We call him Peanut or Nutter Butter, And he goes with me to work pretty frequently, like when I don't have doctor's appointments. Of course, with the okay from family members and clients themselves. We'll go to memory care, and he just absolutely loves everybody there. He gets all the attention and he soaks it up and loves to be pet. He finds the cookies that people are hiding in their pockets too, and he's a ball of energy, and everybody really just loves to see him. Nothing makes people brighten up more than a puppy, except for babies. Babies always bring all the smiles. But he's pretty fun. Senior Home Companions has also seen him in action, and he's definitely helps me calm down some of my clients that have episodes where they just don't feel safe. And the moment they see his fluffy butt, then they're just all smiles and giggles, and he really helps calm down a lot of energy in different scenarios. So I'm really grateful to have him.
Yeah, I can only imagine, and I myself can be a testament. You can't be stressed around Peanut if you are in the most stressful situation and there's a dog just happy as can be behind you. It's just the best feeling in the world. So thank you for sharing him with the office staff.
Of course, he loves it.
Well, Anna, that is all of the questions that I had for you today. If you guys are interested in Anna's concierge nursing services, you can talk to one of your dedicated care managers, and we can schedule a time to get Anna out to your home, and she can talk to you more about her services. But Anna, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.